Hi, I'm Colin from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover of the Elddis Premium Edition 195. So coming down the driver's side of the vehicle first, the first point you get to is your wastewater outlet. So anything you've put down a plug hole, you would open here and drain out. It's very important that you drain it in the winter to stop any frost damage, and you'd normally drain this over a motorhome service pitch. Above you've got the toilet, so all your external lockers open with the tri-mark key. So just push the catches in, ensure that the blade is closed in the vehicle, lift the handle and slide out. We've got a handle so you can drag it to your waste disposal point, which is normally behind or beside the toilet block. Take the cap off, and then press this button, tip it to 90 degrees and empty. Once you've emptied it, there's normally a tap, put some water in, give it a final rinse. And then if you're using the liquid form of chemical, the cap full into here, and it's good to go back into the vehicle. If you're using the tablet form, which is the newer form, you put a pint of fresh water into the cassette and drop a tablet down into the cassette as well. And it clicks back into the vehicle. Just behind the back wheel you've got your water, so this opens with one of the round headed keys. You've got a lockable water cap, so I've gone by a hose pipe as most of it's just a brass tap. And then take the cap off, put your hose pipe in there until it overflows or until you're happy you've got enough water on board. You can see on the main display panel inside how much water you're carrying at any time. You've got your external shower point here, so it's a cold water feed shower only. Connects in there, ensure the pump's on, you'll be able to hose the dogs off with the kids if you've been on the beach. And then underneath you've got your fresh water drain. So if you've taken on contaminated water or you're winterising for the season, you would allow the water out. At the back here you've got an external locker, so this is just underneath the back lounge. So you've got some storage for your bits and pieces.
Exhaust for this heat.
And then also you've got your exhaust for your wheel heating system. So do make sure that doesn't get covered. At the back of the vehicle you've got your high level brake light, reversing camera, and then you've got a 4 bike rack on the back. So you pull it down, you put your wheels through here and tie the straps through the spokes to tie the wheels to the rails, and then you've got your arms for your bikes. So these through your crossbars, and then what I would advise is putting some security chain around the bikes to secure them onto the vehicle should you have to stop, and the bikes will be safe. We've got a detachable tow bar with 13 pin electrics. Which is a witter tow bar. And then to the passenger side of the vehicle, you've got your LPG, which is a gas locker. So you can fit 2 6-kilogram bottles in here. And once they're in, you'd always make sure that they're strapped in. They're turned off when travelling. And then to connect your pigtail, it's just a left hand thread, hand tightened, no need for a spanner. And then turn on and off. And then should the one bottle go empty, you can change it to the next. Next week you've got your external gas point, so if you're powering a Kadak or a external gas heater for your awning, you get a gas spigot and some gas hosing, connect it to your item and then turn on and off via the red gas tap, and that'll run off the main bottle on board to save you carrying a spare to run a barbecue. This is an important locker, so this is your hookup and where your leisure battery lives. You've got your leisure battery there. You hook the vehicle up, get your hookup lead, lift the collar, slide on, put the wire through here, which enables you to shut the door, and then underneath you do have a 3-pin plug, so should you need power for an awning, it's on the right side.
240 socket.
Yeah, 240 sockets.
The back.
And the back. Just here. Above you've got your microwave, so that just allows the fumes out the back of the microwave. And then you've got the same for the fridge, so your fridge vents. You've got your habitation door, which opens with one of the round-headed keys, and this, the last customers kindly put a little mark on there for you. And then you've got your Dometic styled awning. Coming to the passenger door, you've got your diesel filler, and then you've got your AdBlue. Because it's a Euro 6 compliant engine, it takes AdBlue, so that's a 90 litre tank, and it will come up between the temperature gauge and the fuel gauge when it needs it. You can buy it on the pump or you can buy it in the drums. As soon as the light comes on, if you do, just top it up. Otherwise, failing to do so, put it into limp mode, or simply the engine won't start and you'll need to be recovered. And then on the door panel here, you've got your tyre pressure, so 5 bar on the front, which is 72.3 psi, and 5.5 on the back, which is 79.5. Your toolkit underneath the passenger seat, which includes a jackknip brace and a tone eye, and then underneath the floor your engine battery lives under there. Bonnet release is on the side of the dashboard. Coming underneath the bonnet, you've got all your liquids this side, so you've got your screen wash. This cover lifts off and you'll fill your power steering, radiator fluid and your brake fluid. And you've got your oil and your oil dipstick. And then if you ever want to jump start the vehicle, you put an earth on here, and if you just put your key in there, lift it up, a positive on there. You've got your weight plate here, so this is what you go off from Handover Elddis, 3.5 ton gross vehicle weight. With that tow bar you can tow up to a train weight, which is your motorhome, and whatever you're towing can't exceed 5.5 ton. So once inside the vehicle, round here you've got all your controls. So first of all, you've got your 12 volt panel. So obviously if you're hooked up, you will have 240 volt. So you've got your master switch, which is the bottom button here, which either turns on the 12 volt or the 240 volt if you're hooked up. And then to the side, you've got your tank heaters. So if it's going to be cold and potentially freeze overnight, turn these on. We'll put some current through the water and stop the water from freezing. You've got your awning, which is your light above the habitation door. Then you've got your main switch above the awning, which is your lights, which are all then individually switched around the vehicle. And above the tank heater button, you've got your pump. So should you be using taps, toilet, external shower, turn this on. Obviously make sure there's enough water in first, don't put it on if there's no water on, and you'll be able to prime your water. Above on here, at the top it tells you the volt of your leisure battery. Then you've got a toggle switch here which says water. It then tells you how much water is on board. So at the moment we've got a full tank of fresh water on board, as we can see from the top. Below you've got your wheel heating and hot water system. So at the top here, the top button, you've got your water heater, and at the bottom in the left hand corner you've got your heating. So they're both on off. You can then scroll through which source you want. So you've got one wiggly line, which is 1 kilowatt of electric, two wiggly lines, which is 2 kilowatts of electric, which you'd use if you were on site, as you've paid for your electric and you'll not want to waste your gas. Or you can have the gas flame on its own if you're wild camping and not hooked up. Or you can have gas and 2 kilowatts of electric should you be using the vehicle in the winter and you're in desperate need of hot water or heating. And then below you've got exactly the same for the heating, so one wiggly line of 240 volt, two wiggly lines of electric, three wiggly lines, which is 3 kilowatts of electric, gas on its own, and gas and 2 kilowatts, which would heat the vehicle up far quicker as it's using both sources. Got a plus and a minus here for the temperature. So full temperature is 30 degrees, in the middle is about 15. Then should you ever get a warning triangle down the side, whatever's failed, you'd press, say it was the heating that's failed, you press the heating button and the plus button together, and once that exclamation mark removes itself, you can then reset the boiler. But what you need to do is always turn it off properly. So once you've had it on, if you turn it to off, wait till the fans fall silent and then you can turn your master switch off or start your engine. Failing to do so will trip the boiler out, so you will get the exclamation marks and you will have to reset your control panel. So underneath the front lounge in the 194 or 195 should I say, you've got your lounge seats. So what you need to do is the travelling seat, so there's two little buttons underneath here. Once you remove all the cushions, lift the board up slightly, press the levers in and fold back, and then to assemble the seat you've got two levers. So one does the back, so pull it up ever so slightly, and one does the backrest. Good. Use the toggles until you get the seat up into position, and then just slide the base into the two grooves, and there you have a belted seat, as it's a 4-berth 4-belt, and you've got the same on the other side, and then you've got your seat belt down the side there and your buckle on the bottom. And then to convert your front lounge into a bed, simply lift and slide the lat system out in the middle, and then you'd use your backrests on both sides into here. I'd also advise turning the base cushions upside down as you get a flatter surface to sleep on. So now in the kitchen area, so you've got 3 lit gas rings there. So once you've turned the bottle on, always bring it through on the hob first, as this is the highest point in the vehicle that gas gets to. Then all the other items that take gas should light. And then at the back, this red light lights up when the electric hot plate's on, which is only when you're hooked up on 240 volt. Once you've had it on for any length of time, allow it to cool before you put the cooker hood down. Your microwave is only an 800 watt mains electric microwave, so it doesn't work off 12 volt. Pressing eco wakes the microwave up. And below you've got your grill. And under that you've got your oven. Under here is where you'll find your main isolation point for your electric hot plate plug, and on the other side you've got your gas isolation red taps. So should you have any problems with gas, turn the bottle off to be safe. These are mainly for when the vehicle is serviced. Your drawers, so you've got a drawer space and then a small cupboard. And to operate your Dometic style fridge, so offs at the top. First one is the hookup plug, which is mains electric. So this is how you'd operate if you were on a site with electric or you were pre-chilling it at home. You've got battery, so once it's pre-chilled you can put on the battery, and once the engine's started it'll keep the shopper nice and fresh. Basically acts as a big cool box until you get to a site and either go back to electric or you go to gas when you would be wild camping. This is your temperature, but if you just press that in, press the igniter in, and when this orange band moves into the green like it is now, you just let go. That's it. And then that's it, lit on gas. When you are storing it for the winter, if you clean it out, take all your remaining items out, and then just on the light there's a little toggle, slide that forward, stops the door from shutting fully and allows air circulation in and out the fridge and freezer. You've got your tap there, that's bringing through your warm water. And then obviously it's showing that your water is pressurised and your water pump's working. Above you've got a plate rack, cup rack, and you've got your main isolation plug for your microwave should you ever need to take it out and change it. And above us we've got a skylight. So what you need to do is pull your weight on it, slide it along, and then you do have fly screen for when it's open, and a blackout blind for on an evening. That's the same as the one in the back lounge as well. And then located to the opposite side of the kitchen, you've got your wardrobe space. So this is where you'll find your freestanding table, which can either be at the front or the back of the vehicle, or of course taken outside, and that just has got fold away legs. You've got your own unwinding handle. You've got 2 reels for clothing, and then you've got your telly aerial. So should you be struggling to get a signal, what you'll need to do is loosen this nut off here, slide the stem up, and then use the black collar to direct the aerial on the roof. What's best to do is look where other motorhomes and caravans are pointing on your site, and then always before travel make sure the stem's pulled in and the nut is securely fastened to stop the aerial from lifting with the wind. At the back you've got a telly booster, so you can boost and weaken the signal should it be too strong for interference or not strong enough. You can min-max the signal of the TV aerial. So coming into the washroom, which is obviously a combined toilet and shower, you've got your curtain here which comes round, obviously stops your cabinets and your toilet getting wet when you're showering. But to operate the toilet, obviously ensure the pump's on first of all. Pressing the blue button on the top will flush the toilet, as you can see. Always flush the toilet before use. Then what you want to do is slide this grey blade to the right, which opens the cassette. Use the toilet with the cassette open, and then flush after use, and then slide it to the left, which isolates the cassette. And then should it ever need to be changed, obviously when it's shut it's far easier to get it out instead of running back into the vehicle, and you'll get a light on the cassette diagram here when it indicates it's ready to be emptied. Handy toiletry cabinet, push plug on the sink, and then when winterizing, if you take your shower head off your shower hose, as you can see it's got quite a loop in there, any water can coil up. Leave all the mixer taps throughout the vehicle open, because the fresh and the waste would be open outside, so any water that was in the pipes would just go out through the waste and straight out the bottom of the vehicle. Removing this and allowing the hose to lie down in the shower tray, they'll allow any water in here to drain out as well. So underneath your bench seat, which is beside your TV at the back of the vehicle, you've got your water pump, which is here, and 2 more gas isolation taps. But the main point is this yellow tap, which is your boiler drain down tap for the winter. The boiler's underslung and holds 10 litres of water. Obviously you don't want that 10 litres of water to freeze, because once it has frozen, it's broken the boiler and could potentially crack the boiler system, and it's very expensive to repair or replace. And because it's a motorhome, all your tanks and pipes are plastic to give you a better payload, so you need to ensure that you've drained everything down from the fresh to the waste to the boiler, and then obviously leave all the taps open. And to drain the boiler open, you've got a plus and a minus. When it's facing inwards across the vehicle, it's holding water. When it's pointing to the cab, it's dropping water. You'd come in, put no power on, drop the water, open all the taps, then it's winterized, and then obviously when you come in to reuse it, shut all the taps, shut this across the vehicle, fill the vehicle with water via a hose pipe, come in, put the pump on, go to the cold side of the tap first, you'll get automatic cold water. Go to the hot side, it will cough, splutter, make all sorts of noises. And what that's doing is it's filling this boiler of 10 litres from the main tank. When this gets full of 10 litres of water, it will then start priming it through the taps, which is pressurised. So don't be alarmed if it's coughing and spluttering, you're not going to break it, it's just pulling the air through the tap until the water takes over. You've also got a little red reset button here just by my finger, so should the water system give you that exclamation mark and you can't get it off by resetting the panel, if you just press here for 30 seconds it will reset the water system. And then just down here you've got your heating system, And again, very hard to see, but just down here on the other side of this vent, if you can see there, just by my finger again, there's another reset button for your heating system. So that'll reset it should you not be able to reset it from the main control panel beside the habitation door. Your lights at the back are all individually switched, so there's a switch on both of them underneath. And then underneath the locker themselves, there's reading lights, so you can have them on, and they are individually switched. You've got 2 in the back corner and then 2 in the front corner. On the windows, to open your windows, you just release the levers, push it out, and then turn the black wheels there to keep the window ajar when you want a breeze. You've got a fly screen, and you've got a blackout blind on all windows. Obviously fly screen when the window's open, blackout blind for on an evening. Solar panel is fitted in this vehicle, is dual charging. So it's a dual charging solar panel that we're fitted. So it's charging battery 1 and 2. So battery 1 is charging and battery 2 is fully charged. So that just does its own thing. It's only as good as a round thing in the sky. So obviously in the summer this is great, in the winter it's not so good, but it will still give a bit of charge to your batteries on them sunnier days. To open the skylight above the front lounge, which is slightly different to the one at the back, you just release it like the windows, 2 little buttons, push it up. You can use this handle here to pull it down and rest it on these 2 pins. There's 2 clips above it, which obviously locks the skylight into place when open so that the wind doesn't blow the skylight up on the gas struts. But obviously make sure all your windows and skylights are closed if it's windy, or before you do start travelling, because they're not designed to be open, they are just plastic, and make sure they're locked. That'll just then clip back up. You've got a blackout blind and a fly screen, so they clip together, so they depart, just press the catch in and they'll slide apart. The skylight above the cab is just a winder, so you just wind it open like so and then wind it shut. And just because it's above the cab doesn't mean you can have it open when travelling. The rule still applies to this one, it has to be closed when you are driving. And you've got a blackout blind and a fly screen. To lock your habitation door, it's shown green, which means it's open. Lift the catch till it shows red, and as soon as you go for the catch behind it, it'll go back to green and open. You've got a fly screen on the door and open, and a blackout blind to black the van out on an evening. So now in the cab, to the right of the driver, you do have your handbrake, and then on the doors you've got your Remus cab blind, so if you pinch, slide along, this will black the driver's door and the passenger door out. And then you've got electric windows and your electric mirror adjustments. So there's 2 positionings on both mirrors, obviously the top one, which is your big mirror, and the bottom one, which is your blind spot, so you can adjust them all from here. And then you pinch, slide along, cuts away around the plastic moulding on the dashboard due to having the light sensor there. And then you just, this little lug needs to go inside the other blind like so, and then obviously that's your light sensor behind your rear view camera there. They'll pinch together, but should it be a windy night, I would advise putting something around here like elastic band or a hair bubble just to stop it from opening, and they just slide away as well. And you've got the same that side, as well as some curtains. Obviously these are good for space saving, but these are good for more of a thermal insulation property in the winter, as the bulkhead isn't insulated between the engine and the dashboard, so that's the coldest part of the vehicle, can be the carpet. And then here you do have your headlight adjustment and rear fog lights, your trip computer on the end of your wiper stalks, that does your range, your miles per gallon, your travelling times, your distance travelled, and so on. Your lights are automatic, so you've got off there, on, or you can leave them on automatic. I just leave them on automatic, and these are your indicators as well. And then you do have off in the middle, cruise control at the top, get to your desired speed and push it forward, which will save it. And then should you brake, you can press resume on the end, or you can press cancel on the end of the stalk there. You can accelerate and slow the vehicle down when the cruise is set as well, and then you can go at the bottom, which is the speed limiter. So push up slowly goes up in ones, pushing up and holding goes up in 5 miles per hour. Then you do have the kick down function, so if you floor your accelerator at the floor, it'll stop the speed limit, should I say, and you'll be able to get out should you be overtaken or avoiding any situations. 6-speed manual gearbox, into reverse, rear view camera, but it's on permanent. No matter if you're in reverse or 6th gear, you'll still be able to see behind you. ASR off is just another word for traction control, so it's anti-slip relief, and that's turning it off. You've got your hazards, locks, and your rear view and your heated mirrors. USB and 12 volt. USB and auxiliary for the head unit and cup holders. And then you do have your temperature on the outside ring. Must be on at least fan speed 1 or more for the aircon to work, which is this button here. And then you've got your distribution, so where you want your air to go to, and whether you're bringing fresh air in or you're recirculating it within the cab. Head unit, FM, AM and DAB, so you can press 1 to 6 to save your favourite radio stations. You've got media, which is either Bluetooth audio, USB or auxiliary. And then to connect your phone, you go phone, connect phone. You want to find my car and make sure the pin 1062 matches. Once you've pressed pair, it'll ask you if you want to allow your phone to download its phone book. Press allow, and you do that all through your phone, and then you'll be connected here. So whoever rings will come up with a name and a number instead of just a number. And then volume and turn on and off here. Got a glove box and a heated and cooled glove box on the top, depending on what your air conditioning's on. Especially in the summer when it's on aircon, you can put your sweets and things in there and it'll be nice and cold instead of getting up and down from the fridge.